Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, another wondrous Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane. We're off here to a very exciting 1 versus 1 on Faymanville Approach. We shall be watching in one half Macmillan Inc. here fighting for the United States of America here for the 106th Cavalry Group, with infantry, airborne and recon support going up here versus Korean Army, who seems to have been back after some time gone, with Breakthrough, Luftwaffe and Special Operations here fighting for the Panzer Panzer Division. First goes on the way, we're seeing the supply track here rushing ahead, or the supply half track. We're back into Macmillan, riflemen on the way. Troops heading north, troops heading west. I've seen that Macmillan is also Korean.
Rifle squad waiting for orders.
By the way, truck rushing ahead here. Some players like to be a bit aggressive with their half tracks. There's a supply of tracks. I think that might be a bit much, and so in there might be an argument for slightly lowering the health of the half track so it becomes less of a easy thing to be this aggressive. While we're rushing ahead here, troops looks like to be following up due to harassment again. You know, combining this is a bit, yeah, not something I'm a personal fan of. And meanwhile, though, it seems like most efforts are actually going southward, so in this case he won't suffer too much from it. Either way, the rear echelon troops are quickly dispatched here, but with haste, though, without suffering any casualties here, as KoreanArmy moves forward. His truck, though, caused a bit of a mess for him. Volker is rushing for the fuel point, though we are seeing riflemen inbound here, which might throw a bit of a spanner in the works here for KoreanArmy. Third rifleman squad on the way. Troops are coming under fire, need to fall back. Good few shots there being blasted away.
Squad ready for action.
And Volskers are quick to pull up into cover. In fact, they end up pulling back further with more Volskers on the way. So far, we're looking at 3 Volskers Watch 1 Steel Pioneer unit going here, and we see the truck rushing down. Nothing so far besides the 3 riflemen. No lieutenant either. Continue to play there with the truck, taking some light damage. Closing in on half health. With 2 riflemen squads there firing away at it focusedly. There we go, more Volskers moving in, attacking from several sides. Riflemen need to pull up to cover, particularly here. Not looking good. There we go, 2 pulling into the nearby manor house. More Volskers attacking from several sides. And we've seen grenades here being upgraded. The grenade package here for the riflemen. Macmillan going to increase the firepower of his men in one way, and certainly also make it hard to sort of avoid nastier things by the smoke grenades. Who's so fancy is pulling back here for the building, and the Volskers here going to charge into the ones here. And there you go, fragmentation grenades are available alongside the smoke rifle grenade. 1 Volker squad there falling back. Truck moving up into the base and the safety there. And what is this? A Kubelwagen actually arrives here for KoreanArmy. It's a Kubelwagen. Sturm Pioneers moving in. Coming up there on the right, and there you go. Quick grenade there over the sides of the car, blowing things up with no actual Germans. Volker tank down to the south. Steel Pioneers tanking, missing 3 squads here, all together, all lined up. There we go, the Steel Pioneers getting a bit close here. Getting focused down here, a bit of a risky maneuver there, and perhaps a bit of reckless maneuver right there by him. And oh, there's Steel Pioneer wiped out. Troops down there, also a bit caught on the sides. We are seeing here that Macmillan's forces are quite heavily wounded. There we go, grenade going off, and Foxtrot squad almost right, but because here rough squad has going down this way. There we go, units lost on both sides, so it's a bit more expensive there. It's a loss for KoreanArmy, with the Sturm Pioneer unit. Loss is down to just the Volkers, and the Volkers is definitely not looking too well either. He's got the Kubelwagen, but it looks like he's already here on the run, and already 4 kills here. And dashing ahead here is a Panzer. Schnelltiter, we must hunt him down. But this was, I don't know. We're firing away here, straight into the base, and quickly falling back once it realizes things are a bit already ugly for it. Forces not looking big, a bit overextended in fact here for KoreanArmy. We're noting a 4th Volksgrenadier unit out. Troops rebuilding.
Our riflemen are now trained in long
No taking up, instead we're in fact now seeing recon support has been chosen, with forward observers already there, increasing the line of sight and cover, and structures here for the riflemen, allowing them to see further. Kubelwagen slightly pulling back. We are seeing a mechanized station headquarters up. That could certainly help here with the Kubelwagen, since he's got no Sturm Pioneers now to repair it. And it's going to be a while there before it hits Veteran G3. Rifleman under fire there. Kubelwagen loading up to fire away merrily. Going for the fuel pole now. I mean, so far, Korean Army has been able to successfully deny his opponent fuel. And there we go, the smoke grenade up. Going to allow him to close in, amongst other things there. Kubelwagen won't be able to deal with the Rifleman. There we go, charging forwards. Oh, he's actually going straight for the Kubelwagen. I figured he might go for the building clear on that there, but no, instead, going in fact, forcing Korean Army here to pull back. His Kubelwagen already a bit damaged there. I mean, it is a big target. Rifleman moving in from the south as well. Volker's flanking in. Need to be careful. There you go. Quick shield hand grenade, forcing him out in the open. Good job there. That's going to make them easier to suppress. Ratio of troops here versus the Volker's already down to 2 men though. Not looking good. 4 rifle squads here for Macmillan. He's going pretty heavy on the infantry here. And there we go. Out into the open. The Kubelwagen continues to fire away though. The condition though is beginning to look a bit critical here. Bit critical. And there we go, another smoke grenade. Allowing him to further close here against the wounded German troops. Good job here. Macmillan clearly knows how to use his smoke. Splendid, splendid. And also knows how to use it aggressively, which is what you really want to do it with. So go. No, I thought he might go for the cut-off pump, but apparently decides against it. Troops reinforcing, rebuilding. No resources being traded there by Korean Army. And then go Kubelwagen ahead, and he's actually getting a flak half track up. Not what you'd expect. Not what you'd expect usually, but well, and there go grenade into the smoke as well. Kubelwagen charging, a bit of a dash there by Korean Army. In this case, they were not veterans, so they didn't have any anti-tank rifle grenade, in which case things could have gone ugly. But there you go, moving in versus the other rifleman. Flak half track advancing as well. And what could be Macmillan here be thinking? He's actually going for a 5th rifleman squad. No teching up so far. No teching up. And there we go, veterans on here for the Kubelwagen. Nice putt here from the Panzerlehr so far. But at the same time, they have to be careful they don't spread too far out and get extended. And there go an MD-34 up. He's got no fortifications. That's clearly Luftwaffe. So far, should make a support beacon here to support the Panzerlehr.
We got a rifle squad waiting for orders.
Very heavy on infantry here. Very heavy. Riflemen there arriving.
I got orders, knock it off and listen up. Taking fire.
There you go, opening up there with the Kubelwagen again.
Greyhound, ready for action.
And now Greyhound's available, and there we go, immediately going for it. The Greyhound arrives to the field of battle.
Move complete. Orders. Target secured.
For armoured reconnaissance. And a bit of lighter support as well. Rather here, they're getting a bit extended. Then again, if the Kubelwagen or the Greyhound can certainly do a bit of damage at the same time up north here. Rifleman versus the flak half track. The flak half track actually, and maybe in a slightly hazardous position. And again, there's only mostly infantry and no real munitions for an anti-tank rifle grenade. But there you go. Greyhound arrives and opens up. It's not firing at that, so might have to fall back. And there we go, trying to save it. As the Greyhound moves forward, he's jumping saw the rifle here. Lost as he was still occupied here with the north. Bit unfortunate in there. Flak half track trying to escape here the wrath of the United States as the Greyhound dashes forwards with its 37mm gun. And calling in a second M8. Shot there fired, and oh, we could see the Kubelwagen going past it. We try and get it. There we go, nice hit. Half health. Certainly causing a bit of a problem here for Korean Army's troops. We are seeing KoreanArmy arriving in response to the mechanized forces arriving here from Macmillan. MD-34 here holding up the fuel. Looks like a few kills there were landed. But a nice hit they landed on the on the Greyhound. Quickly tearing apart a lot of territory, cutting off a lot of territory, leaving Korean Army without fuel. But then again, I mean, he is successfully also keeping his opponent a bit too proud of it as well. So things are definitely shifting about here quite a bit. Another fragmentation grenade here. Greyhound in a bit of a sticky situation. There you go, rockets flying but not quite connecting. While the one is pulling back here for some repairs. He could consider skirts for it, might of course decide against it. There you go, getting of course a nice kill. And a Volkswagen squad here could get wiped out for Korean Army. That would be a bit of a nasty loss this early on. Well, not this early on, but over here to Korean Army in fact. There we go, unit wiped out. Nasty kill there by him. Because he'll have trouble there, go half track moving up, and we got the Kubwagen providing a bit of support here on the flank as well, ensuring the Americans can rush in from there. And there go Grain up forwards. But can it take on and face the flak half track here? There you go, taking quite a bit of damage. It is no might against the flak half track. Good shooting, Dieter. It is now a smouldering wreck. And there goes something to salvage as well, but most of the map is currently lost here, and we're noting just more Greyhounds being called in. The cavalry group apparently unleashing all of its Greyhounds, and a lot of the American sort of cavalry units in World War II were basically mechanized units, mostly for reconnaissance. They did have sort of horse mounted, but they didn't really see much action from what I recall. For the Germans, things were also a case sort of mechanization, at least half mechanization or motorization. In some regards with their cavalry units. Close again, the Kubwagen rushing in here with a half-track Greyhound. Half-track here could do some repairs. On the other hand, but so far Macmillan is able to keep up the pressure quite nicely, though at the same time he's not sort of really laying down any defense anyway. He's not sort of hunkering up anywhere, which is something he might want to consider slowly thinking towards now. Well, he's getting some weapons for his riflemen. Now that flak mutation going here against the Volkswagen, can he get away? Nope. A nasty series of kills there delivered. Victory points not going Korean Army's way. Oh, actually, so far he's managed to hold on things reasonably nicely. Second MG42 as well, so he's got two MG34s and a Kubelwagen and a flak half-track. So in essence, he's actually got a lot of things that can suppress his opponent's infantry in, well, several different ways. And going forwards, closing in on Vetri 2 here. And there you go, Rifleman utterly annihilated in the middle of the road here. The Kubelwagen and the flak half-track just punishing them, tearing them apart as if they were made of construction paper. In the meanwhile, two here, Greyhounds moving forwards. Flak half-track in trouble, need to pop smoke. Kubwagen also forced away here as the Greyhound pack bares its fangs and lunges at Korean's army's vehicles. It looks like another Volkswagen is about to get wiped out. The Greyhounds are doing alright so far. Getting these amount of kills, and there we go, Kubwagen all stood up. Kednev setting up in a desperate defense. We even see here the flak half-track setting up as well. So at least provide some covering fire. There we go, Greyhound moving in. Kednev are cleared out. Half-track can't hold up for much longer. The Volkswagen is charging in. They could perhaps ambush here from the nearby building and cut off any retreat path here from the Greyhounds. Flak half-track almost knocked out. Kubwagen moving with MG34 here. Very nasty situation. His only hope is basically to draw them into the flak emplacement. I hope that does the job. Overall, right now, the situation for Korean Army and the Panzer is absolutely dreadful here. The Greyhound onslaught is proving to be absolutely dreadful. And here we go, Veteran 2 as well. On one of them, increasing its rate of fire and accuracy, making it only more lethal. And oh dear, another unit wiped out. And he said, and any replacement was like something that might be a bit better, like the Fallschirmjäger, simply put at the moment too expensive. So he's in an absolutely dreadful situation right now. But another Kedmev here arriving, while we are seeing here that Macmillan is trying to do his best to put an end to this, but apparently they are apparently rather terrible at hitting. A few battered infantry units away, including an MG34. It's infantry that has taken some losses here. And looks like he's able to get one of the Greyhounds. Clearly, Macmillan here perhaps got a bit too bold, and he paid the price for once. You got the Veteran 2-1 making its escape for the time being. The Korean Army is definitely in a rather perilous situation. His forces are absolutely hammered and not looking good here. He's trying to... They're busy repairing the supply truck got damaged and not focusing on the flak half-track like he wants to. So in a bit of an awkward situation there as well. And he's forced to basically just rely on Volksgunners, but they are perhaps not the best infantry at all. And certainly not versus the increasingly veteran riflemen with Greyhound support. Then again, I mean, we are noticing here one thing from Macmillan is he's not taking up. He seems to be relying awfully much on his commander, and that, well, in some regards can be strict. It could also prove to be, in the longer term, a bit of a weakness if he's not careful. And if he allows his opponent, that is Korean Army, to sort of build up a more varied and more solid force. And right now we are seeing spare panzer goes up, but that would actually be a chance here to sort of knock it out and actually deny a lot of resources to Korean Army and further send back, particularly with the amount of map control he's got. But if it allows him, there's actually a small chance there then the Korean Army getting back into the fight. So, interesting enough, we're not seeing a reaction from Macmillan towards this. No attempt at actually knocking it out, which could prove to be a bit of a mistake. And there you go, Battery 2 in the Kubelwagen, making him more mobile. And there you go, we got the Greyhound firing away there. It's 32mm gun. Come on, Joe, hit them. McKinley and Kubelwagen falling away, MD-34 quick sending up to cover, trying to get back the fuel. We are knowing here it is finished, and so is the flak half-track as well. And again, good use of smoke there to sort of cover, advance, and also ensure the MD-34 can't really do too much. And he's got his own MD-34 there moving up as well. I'm guessing he's actually saving up for a call-in then. The one that allows him to call in an anti-tank gun and a few airborne units there from above. And there we go, it is happening. Flak half-track setting up here to cover from the other side. Kubelwagen MD-34 here. And the Kedmev as well. While the Greyhound here rushes around. And there we go, looks like it's happening right around here actually. And one of them, oh, very nice. In fact, one of them actually got equipped with Browning light machine guns. And the other one's got Thompsons, plus there's the anti-tank guns, so well done there. Grabner doing quite nicely against the Foxtrot forcing them away. Greyhound providing further support there, closing in on Veterans who flee. Meanwhile, the flak half-track providing light support. Airborne have not moved into support. And there you go, the Greyhound. Oh, he's making a mistake here. It's gone a bit too... oh, greedy. Or perhaps a misclick, or perhaps he wasn't quite paying attention and he ordered to attack a specific unit. Either way, wrecked. No survivors. Ah, we got the Yankee Dieter. We got him and his friends, and they're burning horribly. It kind of smells good. Our light forces pushing up here from the north. Airborne moving in, or paratroopers. Or paratrooper support squad. Apparently only with one Browning. But there you go, stealing away the anti-tank gun. Good job, they're getting pinned down here by the MD-34. Kubelwagen and flak half-track still remains. Grenades going off there. Might pull back the flak half-track a bit further. And there you go, paratrooper support moving up there. Grenades off. Nice hit there. Foxtrot trying to break out, but encountering riflemen. Kubelwagen not there to support either. Orbital Garden could be a better choice now with the... and there goes heading up. Just chatting into all those riflemen. And horribly murdering them up close. Proving its worth there with its 20mm flat cannon. But they're going to tank and setting up, needs to pop smoke. Gets the smoke. 9. He didn't get the smoke. And kaput. And now we actually got the Kubelwagen moving straight from the anti-tank and another easy target there. Scheiße. But really struggling heavily here. But finally he's getting some orbital done, so he might actually be able to put on some better pressure against his opponent. Since the Volkswagen simply can't push. Not with the kind of opposition he's facing. Paratroopers are quickly rebuilding and reinforcing. With another Greyhound. Interesting enough, I mean, despite the amount of territory, all the resources Macmillan has, he seems very content on just relying on his recon support commander. I mean, there's no consideration for, say, gaining a single Sherman, which I think could do a lot for him here. Or, say, an M8 Scott, or even a Stuart. It does feel a bit weird, if I have to be honest. MD-34 remaining, no intended armor piercing rounds from that, that could help him a bit. And Foxtrot moving up, quick grenade. And looks like he's very close to losing. He has the Greyhound charges forward. Oh, counter shot, but also taking out several of its own men in the process.
We're ready to move.
Goodness gracious. I suppose you can call the... well, I wouldn't call that very friendly fire, to be honest. Nothing friendly about a canister shot.
Ready for orders. Taking fire.
There you go, Kubelwagen closing in and Veterans free. He's actually doing reasonably well with it. Impressive. But there you go, MD-34 being up on, needs to pull that back before it gets turned into, well, sieve. And there you go, coming under fire here, the flank emplacement basically covering up things here. Well, the Schwerpanzer scores. There you go, Orbital Dart moving forwards. Quick Geballte Ladung through the window. Almost got it, there you go. Greyhound moving up. Oh! Canister round absolutely annihilates the Obersoldaten. No survivors. Only an MU-34, there go the Volkswagen, quick to move up and pick it up, at least ensuring they can fight on. And might actually make them a bit useful. Meanwhile, the MU-34 continues to fire away, needs to get some incendiary rounds up. Greyhound sneaking up, and we got the airborne here firing away with their Browning light machine gun. And the Kubang move forwards. Cover things up. Volkswagen could probably move up here and provide further pressure. But again, territory-wise, not looking good here. In fact, time for the mid-game analysis. Current situation here is for Korean Army pretty bad. I mean, he's currently relying on largely a full Volkswagen force within a single MG-34, collected from the shredded hands of some Obersoldaten, a single Kubelwagen and some Raketenwerfers. I mean, he's not got a lot of territory. The situation's overall looking pretty bad for him. I am surprised at one thing, though. He hasn't gone for a Puma much earlier. I mean, that could certainly have helped him, I think, with us all the earlier Greyhound instead of going for that, but that's another discussion for now. I mean, one choice is basically trying again for Obersoldaten, and basically that way trying to push him up a bit more securely. I suppose a Lux could be an option as well. If, I mean, Macmillan continues playing the same strategy he is currently playing, in which case it could actually work. Because if Macmillan continues playing and that's go for any harm, well, you know, the Lux will pretty much be sort of largely uncontested, except by a pack of Greyhounds maybe. So, I mean, that could be a small glimmer of hope here for Korean Army. But the situation is currently dangerous. He needs to get the fuel, needs to get some victory points back, and he sort of secure this area and sort of set up something to sort of throw back his opponent. And he also needs to see something to deal with these Greyhounds. I mean, again, a Puma, maybe a Lux, would sort of be a sort of mobile method of sort of putting an end to these mobile miseries. And looking at Macmillan also in terms of sort of territorial control and damage. I mean, Korean Army is sort of holding on in terms of damage kill-wise, though he's very much lagging behind. I mean, most of the folks he's putting out, I mean, basically end up as cannon fodder. I mean, they're doing nothing except buying him maybe a bit of time, and it's not really a cost-effective method. I mean, with the Obersoldaten, he might have a chance now. Of course, the Volkswagen with the MG-34 might have a chance, of course. I'm a bit surprised he hasn't tried for, say, any Fallschirmjägers either. Of course, it would be a bit tricky with the ground. On the other hand, a good Panzerfaust in there could just give him the HCs he needs as well, plus might put a bit more pressure on the enemy infantry. So there are some thoughts there. As for Macmillan, I would strongly suggest him actually taking up, because currently, I mean, he's to a certain extent playing on Korean Army's level, but he's not really trying to sort of gain the upper hand fully by getting, say, a tank like the Sherman just basically hammering his way through, or getting some Scots. I mean, he's got tons of fuel, so he could easily do it, or, you know, aim for something else. Some Stuarts, some pack howitzers. I mean, say, get an IR Pathfinder laid on a beacon to also allow his Petrus, by the way, to reinforce at the front line. That could be an idea. Just, you know, something a bit more. Sort of, you know, really get the upper hand and basically crush Korean Army. Of course, the way he's playing, I mean, in some regards, it's probably easy to a certain extent, but it also leaves a slimmer of a chance there that Korean Army can actually break through, since it's still, you know, something that, to a certain extent, he can still get something reasonably easy to get with, despite not having a lot of fuel. I mean, that's really the sort of main issue with Macmillan's force. It's not going to require something extremely fuel-intense to sort of really put down, had he say, compared to going to several Shermans or Stuarts or something like that. That would require, you know, something like a Panther, in which case Korean Army could very well be in dire straits. On the other hand, he's remaining light armor and lots of infantry, and there's a chance with Obersoldaten and maybe a Lux, you know, of getting through that. So it's not necessarily fully recommendable at the moment what Macmillan is playing at, and that could definitely be his problem. But let's return into the fight. Kubelwagen coming to kill there. Volkswagen should move out and support. He might be building up his forces for making a push. Anti-tanker moving up, the Kubelwagen in a bad spot. And that's also pretty much one of the major issues with it. I mean, as the game progresses, you can't really use it for much, and say not holding any vital points, because one anti-tank gun shot and that Scooter is knocked Fritz. Over here, Volkswagen is trying to do a bit there with the MG-34, forced to fall back already. Greyhound moving forwards. Nego coming under fire from the flanking placement. 37 rounds, doing quite a bit of nasty work there. KMF setting up. And there go another Greyhound down on fire and whatnot. howls of pain and fire erupt before briefly, well, harshly getting stopped. Still, Korean Army needs a breakthrough. He needs to get out of this mess. And that is Schnell. More smoke rounds here. I mean, good job actually. He's doing the laying down smoke before maneuvering about. Really good infantry tactics here from Macmillan. That's nice to see, but you know, he needs to get a bit more than just infantry in the longer run. I mean, if for example a Lux were to appear, that could cause a bit of problem. Just to put it mildly, and there you go. Airborne moving in. Thompsons and Garands. Well, not Garands, but M1 carbines. And there you go, tagging up MD-34 supporting. Kenmef, and there you go, the Volkskas leading the way. Go anti-tank gun as well, could get that cleared out. Fire here going up as well. Getting caught out here in front of things. Volkskas need to be careful. 4-6, 4-6! Leute! Zurückfallen! And there you go, forced retreat here. Very close, they could have lost that Volkskas squad and the unit equipment. What is this? Infantry gun here has been pulled up by the Panzer to support its infantry. As things continue to get ever more ugly, and looks like an MG-34 again was lost here to the Amerikaner. So now the Yanks have more MGs than the Germans. That's a bit embarrassing.
Okay, morning orders, gang. We got orders. Crew ready.
A capture point is being overrun.
But again, Korean Army is absolutely stubborn. He's not giving up. He keeps fighting, despite having barely any infantry left, barely anything left. In fact, most of what he's got has actually been wiped out time and time again. One thing, though, I haven't noticed, he's not actually scavenging anything. It seems like, or barely anything. I mean, he's got this one here, but no attempt at getting fuel from it. So, for example, speed up his process towards getting kind of vehicle. There you go. Veterans, the MG-34 and 10 up his mountain is the Volksgun is with the MG-34 in it. Setting up, trying to get to the window. They're still pinned, though. They're taking heavy damage, but there we go. Firing in for the building. Shooting back at the Amerikaner. Quickly, Heinz. And there we go. MG-34 cleared up. Veteran 3. MG-34 cleared up there. Further Volkskas with the MG-34. A small victory for Germany. Going for the victory point there, sort of stalled things up. He's saving up apparently for another airdrop combat group. Apparently the 101st are providing quite a bit of support here for the cavalry group. Orbital done arriving. MG-34 arriving. Riflemen there arriving, but that's probably in hell or some other kind of afterlife.
Looks like we're going in.
Could very well. No, looks like he might be going for something else. There we go. He's actually taking up. He's going for the captain. Interesting, interesting. Looks like he's finally something's happening in terms of teching. About damn time. Orbison moving in. MG-34 moving down. A bit more firepower now available here in the hands of Korean Army. Paratrooper squad moving forwards. Quickly getting some kill there on the Krauts. And Volkskas is about to flank about. They're hitting the airborne unit. While the orbital runners happen to their side, they could catch them here in a very vicious volley of MG-34. There we go. Paratroopers getting caught in it. Infantry gun firing. Volkskas here getting some kills on the paratroopers. Veterans 3 as well. Meanwhile, MG-34 starting the Volkskas riflemen down here. Looks like the final, the counterattack from the Panzer is going in. Having struggled for quite some time, they're finally scraping their way back from the edge of the abyss.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
Another Greyhound though arrives here from the cavalry group. Apparently no armour is actually available. And apparently cancelled the captain then. Oh. He seems very insistent on those Greyhounds and apparently not taking out whatsoever. At the very least, he might want to at least get another airdrop combat group and then get some anti-tank and some more Persian base just attack the base that way. And still no sign of armoured skirts either, sort of making tougher. Oh dear, another canister shot! This time though, they don't get absolutely murdered. Only poor Friedrich gets left in a condition where not even his own mother will be able to recognise him. And there you go, another Greyhound down, but another one immediately called in. Apparently Macmillan's gone on an absolute Greyhound frenzy. Forcing up here, MG-34 covering here from the northern manor house. stopping the Volkswagen, taking the point there. KoreanArmy doing a bit of work well. MG34 getting. He was about to get it. Can he get it away?
They just fell to 50 points.
50 points left. There's a 394 here for Macmillan. Absolutely crazy. Orbital line attack here from the north, crossing the street. Artillery covering them as we got the Volkswagen up north. Veterans E4, 17 kills but almost getting wiped out. You need to get away. Zurückfallen, your heroes of Germany. Preferably not posthumous. Very close shave there. And we got the MG34 getting cleared up by the Greyhound and the Rifleman. He could consider basically just taking this and actually sort of setting up probably inside the building here. That would actually be a good move here for Macmillan. Units getting wiped out though. The Orbital Dardan and the other things actually doing the work here for KoreanArmy. And the heavy insistence on the Greyhound might in fact end up biting Macmillan here in the arse if he's not careful. Taking the point here, KoreanArmy for firing away. He could lose it. No, got lucky there. And the infantry gun here being used to take points. Utter chaos there, utter desperation. 41 points left, 39. Paratroopers attacking forwards. Straight into the Volkswagen there with the grenade. Shish! All of them dead. They were good men. They might all have been accountants from Düsseldorf, but they were all good men. Infantry gun firing down, MG34 setting up.
Germans are on the roads. They're down to 25.
25 points left over 394. Is he saving up for another combat group? It could be, it could be. I mean, that sort of influx of elite infantry could maybe do the trick for them. Volkswagen here with a Panzerschreck, a lone single Panzerschreck.
Evasive action. Keep the wheels going.
We got the MG34 still covering things up north here. Greyhound in a spot of trouble. Infantry gun firing Orbital Dardan as well.
Go ahead.
Could be seeing another canister shot. There we go. Hans und Jürgen. Well, not so much left of them. Is he really setting up for another one? We also got these gentlemen closing in on Veterans E3. And we're seeing our KoreanArmy being sent in northwards. Rifle moving in.
We're losing a capture point.
15 points left. Interesting enough, he's not recruit that one again. I think he really should do that and basically set up to cover here. I mean, that would make things a lot more difficult here for KoreanArmy. You see the KoreanArmy here being slowly cleared out. A rather desperate gambit here by KoreanArmy. Anything to slow down the exit points. He must be feeling... And there we go. Luke's Aufklärungspanzer has arrived. And now things are actually getting a bit ugly here, since he's got very little sort of really stop it at the moment. And the anti-tank gun is not in any condition to sort of act as a... There we go. 900. He's going to have to call in now. Cancel around here as the Volkswagen almost right the entire unit. He's still not calling it in.
We just lost a unit.
Come on, if you're going to save up that much manpower, use it. There we go. Another paratrooper combat group called in just as the last paratrooper from the previous one got absolutely wiped out. Anti-tank not enforced. Anti-tank on him moving 2 forwards. No sign of tracking by the veterans who were getting outmaneuvered by the Lukes. Other anti-tank gun setting up. We got another Browning, but also this time bazookas.
HQ under attack.
Anti-tank rifle net there versus the Lukes. Needs to get the paratroopers up here with the bazooka. Johnson, Jones. Knock that crap panzer out. Something like that anyways. Nice hit there. Troops need to be enforced, need to recruit those anti-tank guns. Bazooka, paratroopers moving forwards. Macmillan getting flanked. But there you go, Techno Macmillan gets it. Utter chaos here. 6 points left for Korean Army. 6 points left. Can Macmillan seal the deal? Can he win the war? Or will Korean pull through one hell of a comeback victory here? Luke's doing what he can here. Paratroopers need to get up into cover and fire some bazookas at it. Ripe and other things, they're firing back. Falcon the tanks on the south. There we go. Luke's cooked up. Grenades flying everywhere. Paratroopers doing what they can. Ripeman doing what they can here in these absolutely chaotic environments. And tagging down here, getting stopped by an MG34. Looks like he could lose the unit. He's too paying attention much in the centre. He should recruit that MG34 to set something up. Oh well.
Just got a report of an infantry unit being wiped out.
Promotion's in!
And
M8, ready for battle.
so many bodies here, I mean. So many bodies of all nationalities.
We're losing a capture point.
Oh dear. Paratroopers, riflemen, vehicle crews, Volkskandiers. Bits of someone. Another Greyhound.
Reinforcements in.
Crowds are sniffing around our asses. Tactical point being
Just a bit more, just a bit more. Can Macmillan succeed? He just needs to focus down around one victory point in the southern one. The one where Korean Army is the farthest away from. He's all got the Greyhound here on it. Candace around fails to make any kind of impression here due to the old truck.
Greyhound, ready for action.
Made in France.
Go ahead.
That sturdy French engineering.
Listen up! Listen up!
But no, he's actually extending. He's sending units for all 3 points now. Instead of making just one solid punch southwards, we're seeing again moving north. He's actually, oh dear, this could actually prove to be a huge mistake. And there you go, Luke striking down versus the attacking forces. A second Luke has arrived. Ground here on its own without any support. Why would he send it down there then? Rather curious decision here. Might be desperation here by Macmillan. And there you go, looks like the Patriots getting wiped out here by the Lukes. The Bazookas, they're almost getting it. Almost, instead. It's another channel ground there, dead paratroopers. So many killed.
In contact with a Panzerschreck tank!
And trying to take the point here.
We're losing a capture point.
MG34 moving back up north. Another Greyhound. He's absolutely remorseless with those Greyhounds. Crew there wiped out. Greyhound blazing. With the power of 1,000 suns, or probably a half one. Orbsland they're almost taken out, but still they prevail.
Crowd's taking pot shots at us!
Luke's saving. Oh no, the Orbsland got wiped out.
Greyhound, ready for action.
Such massive losses here for Korean Army.
Send orders.
There you go, another Greyhound cleared out. So many Greyhounds lost in this
Just got
battle.
destroyed.
And another Volkswagen unit with an MG34. Still at 6 points. Still at 6 points. He's just barely holding on. He got the MG34 up north here, being cleared out by the Lukes. Slayer of paratroopers everywhere, it would seem.
We lost a gun crew.
Crewing the southern MG34. Macmillan's forces,
Going in.
previously so strong and numerical, are now decimated. Utterly. Granted, Korean Army's forces are not looking too good either, but they are looking stronger nonetheless. And now he's got MG34, he's got a Kenmafers covering things here.
What the hell am I meant to do with these?
And we actually got a second Luke here arriving. And Macmillan is actually spreading out his forces even further. I mean, if he wants any chance, he needs to make one directed strike, but he's doing the exact opposite. In fact, he's moving straight towards here, right into the arc of fire. There, also caught with the other two. Looks as, oh, scheisse. That's just a massacre. And there we go, Macmillan surrenders. Macmillan surrenders. One hell of a comeback there by Korean Army. From the very edge of defeat, he managed to come back because of a few critical mistakes there by Macmillan. I mean, he played extremely aggressive with his commander, but he just failed in some vital aspects. In part, he was too late in taking up. Much too late in actually taking up, relying too much on his commander, too much on Greyhounds, which he rather didn't upgrade either. In some cases, he got a bit too greedy several times, giving Korean Army the critical time to sort of knock out units. But also the way he sort of stayed at basically no tech level and relied on all these things, rather gave again Korean Army the critical edge to sort of, basically rely also no tech units and basically go for orbital Dardan. Again, not very fuel heavy units, and in the end loses as well to sort of break through. And that was really the critical mistake here conducted by Macmillan. There was also another one to a certain extent. I mean, that was the MD-34 down. He could have recruited that, set it up here, and things would have been a lot more difficult for Korean. In fact, he could even have won. So in that regard, there's another slight mistake. They're not, fully utilising the equipment his opponent dropped around. For example, had he done that, he'd probably also been in a much better condition. So there were a few issues there, but there's some very interesting playing. He was certainly good with his infantry, played with grenades, smoke grenades, very good there. Certainly also gave Korean Army quite the headache. And Korean Army certainly made good use of the Kubelwagen and the flak half track, and certainly also managed to get sort of really back in the game once the Oberzonen arrived. But it certainly also, I think, highlighted really the issues there are with the Fultz Grenadiers at the moment. But either way, really well played there by Korean Army, also really well played there by Macmillan. But again, in terms of the longer play, there were several critical mistakes here that basically undermined Macmillan's play overall, giving Korean Army just the gap he needs to sneak in for and win this battle. So I hope you enjoyed this battle. I hope you learned something from it. I hope it gave you some ideas for your own matches. If you did want to subscribe to your friends, share it with everyone. If not, send in a replay of your own, apply some feedback in the comments. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.